I'm Stacy Holmes, and this is Glordinary, a few moments where we celebrate God's glory and champion the ordinary. I'm glad you're here. My 12-year-old self blurted out, "Well, Keith, I hope you do go to hell." A collective gasp came from all my friends, as I quickly realized it was not appropriate for one child to tell another child she hoped he went to HE double hockey sticks during Sunday school. Take it from me, they tend to frown on that sort of thing. Oops. In one fluid motion, I began scooching my chair backward, knowing the all too familiar hallway that was about to be my new home for the remainder of Sunday school. Yet no exile came this time. That was weird. That moment flashed through my mind as I was reading in John 1 the other morning. It says this, starting in verse 35. The next day, John was there again with 2 of his disciples, and when he saw Jesus passing by, he said, "Look, the Lamb of God." All right, since I kind of dropped you in the middle of this story, let me give you a little context. Our scene here opens up with John the Baptist and 2 of his disciples or students. These 2 had already been followers of John the Baptist's teachings and had been baptized by him. He was their teacher, their leader, and despite oodles of people and the religious authority trying to force John the Baptist to just admit he was Elijah reincarnated or the Messiah, he wouldn't. He couldn't, because he wasn't. If you recall, JB was the forerunner for JC. That's code for John the Baptist and Jesus Christ. Keep up. Now JB, or the baptized man, as my daughter called him in preschool, well, he was the preparer. He came first to prep the hearts, minds, and eyes of the people around him. And while he was these 2 disciples' teacher in 1 verse 35, he was actually leading them toward Jesus, toward this discovery. So it's no surprise when one day JB announces, "Hey, there's JC. He's the Messiah." Well, these 2 students do a 180 and start following after Jesus. Verse 37. When the 2 disciples heard him say this, they followed Jesus. Turning around, Jesus saw them following and asked, "What do you want?" They said, "Rabbi," which means teacher, "where are you staying?" Where are you staying? It's a simple question. All he had to do was answer it. "I'm staying in Capernaum." But he didn't. "Come," he replied, "and you will see." So they went and saw where he was staying, and they spent that day with him. It was about 4 in the afternoon. "Come," he replied, "and you will see." He could have just busted out a reply to Andrew and the other disciple, which is presumably the author John. He could have said the easy answer, cut his time exponentially, and just answered the dumb question. And honestly, that's kind of what we want him to do all the time. Just answer the question. But do we? Because you see, with Christ, it's all about the invitation, all about the opportunity to see, to relate, to converse, to learn, to discover. They only asked where he was staying, not like how to solve a quadratic equation or the atomic mass of manganese, which sounds way too similar to magnesium. We could have thought that one through a little better, right? A simple question. Where are you staying? He could have just told them. But like any good homeschooling mom does, he invites them into the conversation, into the experience, into the discovery. Because learning is really only 1 part knowledge and 3 parts discovery. No, I didn't quote someone, and yes, I did totally just make up that statistic. But it's true, and you know it. Learning is only partly knowledge. It's also about the process of discovering said knowledge. And what's the first thing you want to do when you've made a discovery? You gotta share it with someone. Verse 40. Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, was one of the 2 who heard what John had said and who had followed Jesus. The first thing Andrew did was to find his brother Simon and tell him, "We have found the Messiah," that is the Christ, and he brought him to Jesus. And it didn't stop with Andrew, John, and Peter. This invitational method, well, it continues with Philip and then Nathanael. The story continues in verse 43. The next day, Jesus decided to leave for Galilee. Finding Philip, he said to him, "Follow me." Philip, like Andrew and Peter, was from the town of Bethsaida. Philip found Nathanael and told him, "We have found the one Moses wrote about in the law, and about whom the prophets also wrote, Jesus of Nazareth, the son of Joseph." "Nazareth? Can anything good come from there?" Nathanael asked. "Come and see," said Philip. Come and see. The same words, the same method as Jesus. This invitation, a conversation with Jesus, to see, to discover. No spoon feeding, no lectures, no dictation, just an invitation to come alongside, to come and see. That's what I experienced so many years ago. Like I said earlier, teachers do tend to frown on one child telling another child to go to hell in Sunday school, and probably even outside of Sunday school too. But I didn't tell you the whole story. You see, that year my teacher was Carol Smith. Carol happened to be one of my mom's closest friends and basically a second mom to me. I had known her as long as I could remember, and she was cattle to me for many years because I couldn't pronounce my R's. And while Carol could have easily smacked me for popping off in class, yet again, she didn't. She didn't keep me from hanging out with her son Jay, my best friend. She didn't send me in the hallway, keep me after class, or even call my mom to rat me out. Nope, she did something different. She invited me to McDonald's after Sunday night church. And that night, over French fries, Carol gently asked me about what I'd said. And she let me share my thoughts about that little snot Keith and how mean he was to me, how much I couldn't stand the way that he teased me and my friends. She listened to me, and then she did something no other teacher had ever done. She invited me to discover a new way with a few simple questions. "Stacy, is this who you'd like to be in life? Is this who you think Jesus sees you as or made you to be? I don't believe you really want Keith, or anyone else for that matter, to go to hell. I don't believe that's who you are. I think there's a better way to live." I can't remember all that we talked about that evening, but I do remember the profound impact it had on me when Carol invited me to come and see, to discover a new way of living, a life where I wasn't shunned for being a little bit sassy and an inconvenient truth teller. A life where I could come and see this Messiah, this one who was also sometimes a little bit sassy and also an inconvenient truth teller by some people's standards. No lectures, just pure invitation. And that invitation continues for me and for you. Stacy, come and see. Friend, come and see. The invitation is there forever and ever, over and over. He invites. He invites for that first conversation, and he keeps inviting for the gajillionth one too. So today, whether you're asking the simple questions, the "where are you staying?" or the questions of total disbelief, like "Nazareth, can anything good come from there?" No matter where you find yourself today on this journey that we call life, the invitation to come closer remains. Come and see. Remember, you're not alone in this. I'm praying for you, friend. Have a glordinary day.